I was recently asked to host a panel by MGI Worldwide, which is an accounting network, which started in the morning in Asia, moved to Europe at lunchtime, and we did the evening in the Americas. And what came through from almost all of those markets was the war on talent hotting up and incredible escalations in some places of pay. So that made it a really good week to talk to David Ellis. David and I met recently. We were both on a panel at the London Stock Exchange, and he is an expert in pay and reward. So I wanted to ask him what the heck is going on here.
So we've certainly seen some extraordinary statistics out there around the number of people moving roles and the number of people thinking of moving roles and the pay increases that people are receiving when they move roles and so on. The slightly more staid statistical end of the spectrum tells us that that story is very, very localized. For example, if you work in tech, you will be seeing all of that which I've described at the chirpy end of the spectrum. If you work in retail or if you work in hospitality, you'll be seeing a subtly different thing. If you can't tell someone what the deal is when they join, how they're going to be working, who they're going to be working with, what you really mean by hours, then you've got a problem because your supply and demand is impaired. If you reach a place where you can't tell someone really what your organization is like, you've got a credibility gap there because people won't believe what they say. And reputationally, if you're working in a space and somebody says, I've heard about them, they do this, massive issue. And I think what we're seeing time and time again are organizations having to pay serious premiums, not because there aren't enough candidates and they are sitting there trying to get more than their fair share, but actually the offer that they've got there in the broadest sense requires them to pay more, pays needing to do much more heavy lifting to get someone across the board.
Why is pay not falling when we could give these jobs out for anywhere if people are remote or hybrid working?
I think it's fair to say the pandemic will be a catalyst to offshore certain types of skill or to increase the pace of automation of certain types of skill. But those skills out there, which were and probably always will be humanistic in the sense that you require empathy and you require solutions and you require people to work together and collaboration. I think what we'll find is the domain value in that employee, once they've got some time with you and built up some knowledge, will mean that you'll be desperate to keep them as an employer. And from an employee perspective, the fact that they are gaining skills in an organization and working there should make them more reluctant to move.
So not everyone should be expecting a massive pay rise right now.
Well, if you assume people have an obsession that says 2.5% to 3% is what we're used to, that's not where our world is here. Then you could easily double that, couldn't you? Without question across the board, but then deploy it more strategically. And that's the piece, of course, everybody's missing. You don't give everyone 7% pay increase. You give a few people 30, some 15, and you end up with a lot of people on, lo and behold, 2.5% to 3%.
Is this a moment that companies should really look a bit harder at some of those dodgy managers that most organisations have somewhere? The ones that people don't want to work with, maybe they're bullies, maybe they piss people off, and maybe they make people leave. Is this the moment to address those issues?
It is because undoubtedly reasons for moving, people leave because of people like that sit depressingly near to them. There's no question about that. It's a drag on performance. The how you do things is so important in the context of reaching heights of performance. And if you've got people there who hit targets, but nonetheless are a drag in that sense, I think you need to be brave.
David's got takeaways for candidates that are thinking about moving. First of all, be really clear about what it is that you might be giving up and try and be as clear as you can be about what you're going to, what the terms are and how it's going to work. But if you're ready to move, now is the time to get out there and negotiate with total determination. Good luck with it.
What do you want? Just tea, thank you. Deal.
If you're an employer, Adam Nicol, who is the marketing director at Randstad, the world's biggest recruitment firm, says that you really need to be on top of this. 69% of candidates say that they are confident they can get another role. He says you need to know your why, because if you don't know your why and you don't have real money to spend on the war for talent, you're probably going to lose. You're going to end up shedding staff and you could languish. You need to be getting your ducks in a row. Next week, it's going to be the Idiot's Guide to the Metaverse, and we're going to be talking about what it is, what Zuckerberg's on about. We've got Chris Rempel on, who's written a brilliant piece that really made sense to me. We've got Philippe Matthews, who you've met before, and we've got Lucy, my 7-year-old, who watches a lot of YouTube and apparently has views on the subject. We're going to find out. See you next week. Take care.
Just tea, thank you.